The assessment tool that I chose to explore is the Smart Lab. And to access Smart Lab, you can open up Smart Notebook. And once you get in Smart Notebook, you click on the robot, and that will take you into the Smart Lab. And that is where you can choose all the different types of assessments that you can give. So depending on what you want to assess, you can choose what type of assessment you want to create. These assessments can be given on the smartboard, of course, and can also be given out on students' devices. I am teaching kindergarten, so when we use this, we usually use it during whole group or in small group using the smartboard because, our students all of them don't have their own devices right now. We do have iPads in the classroom, but each student does not have their own individual device. So if we do use it with using a device, we are doing it in small group. So if you just click on one of the options, you can use images and then browse your computer for an image. So you would save whatever you wanted to use previously and then just click on it and then choose what you want to label. For this option, you can just create a matching, and I've already created some assessments that I will open in just a second. Whoops. So these are just the different types of assessments you can choose. So if you exit out of this is where I've saved the assessments that I created. So in kindergarten right now, we're working on addition and subtraction, and my students are doing really well. So that is what I'm going to let them work on with this, just as an assessment that we do in the classroom. So for this assessment, they just will click and drag the options up to the answer. And when I created it, I chose to have the answers assessed immediately. So if they drag the answer to the wrong place, it will automatically bounce back. Oop, maybe not. Anyways, when you save it, I think it just didn't save when I changed it. But you can, up here it has, you can check answers when prompted instantly or don't have them check. I always choose instantly because that way when my students go to move the answers around here, if they slide it to the wrong one, it won't stay unless it's correct. And that gives them that automatic knowing whether it's correct or not. And then you can always choose a different theme. So, of course, the students get pretty excited about that. And when it's actually connected to the smartboard, it makes different types of noises when it's correct or incorrect, and depending on the actual theme that you choose also. And I think another thing that I noticed that didn't end up saving was I ended up changing some of my equations, because when you have equations with the same answers, I found out if it's not the answer that you chose, like if that's not the right 4, it might be a different 4. So it bounces back. So that's something that I noticed that I had to kind of play around with and end up changing the equation so none of them had the same answers. This button over here just allows you to choose whether you can set a timer. You can choose to have student names pop up so that if you do it whole group, to have different students selected, or to have like a competition. And then this is to have students sign in. So this means that students can do it on their own devices. And when you have, when you're on Class Lab, it gives you a number. And with that Class Lab number, students can go to classlab.com, and what that looks like is this, and they'll type in this number here, whatever number you give them, and then the activity will automatically pop up on their device. So that's pretty cool. So I'll go back to this. The other activity is a matching activity that I did with subtraction, and this is a science theme, but with kindergartners, they get excited about anything that looks cool. So for this one, you can drag either the equation over to the answer, and if it's correct, they go together, or you can even drag the answer over to the equation and they go together. And I think this one is the same. If you have the answer that isn't the right answer, it'll bounce back. So that's something that you will have to play with before you do it. If you have some of the same answers over here, it might require that it's the specific one that you choose. If it's incorrect, it just goes and bounces back. And once it's hooked up to the smart board, it does make noises if it's correct, incorrect, and that's something that, of course, 5 and 6-year-olds get really excited about, and probably students older than that as well. So this one also, you can make edits to your equations. This is where you enter in the information that you want here. You can also change whether you check the answers instantly or when prompted. So if you want the students to complete the whole thing and then check the answers, that's also an option. And then these are all the different themes you can add for this one. And the last one that I did gets away from math and goes into the science unit that we are working on right now. We are working on living and non-living. So for this, I did a game show, and this one is super simple. So they just spin the wheel, and it's a multiple choice, and it's basically a word, and they choose non-living or living. They choose it. It's green if it's correct. They click continue. The other team goes. If they get it incorrect, it's red. And then the other team gets to try for half the points. If they get it incorrect, the other team gets to try again and gets it correct but doesn't get any points. So this is just a fun way to assess students where they feel like it's a game, but you're getting to see what they know. This game is the one out of these three that is not able to be played on devices. This one is only able to be done in whole group, but it can be done in teams. And when you edit this one, you can also, when you do multiple choice, you can do, of course, you can put your question here, and then you can add up to 4 answers, and you can add think you can add more questions too. And let's see. And then of course you can review your content, change your quiz order. And that is about it. So this is just a really simple way. And with Smart Lab, the code that your computer will generate for you, I'm not logged into the network, so I don't have my code right now. But the code for Class Lab, when you share the games with your teachers in your school, you can share these, and when you share them, the code changes for the other teacher. So when their students log on, they'll automatically log on with their teacher's code and be playing their teacher's game instead of having the same code as yours. So it's pretty cool. Lots of different options for different types of games. Pretty simple. The templates are already there, and you just kind of type in your information pretty quick, and then you're done. So I hope everybody can try it out.